thank you. And thank you for joining us for this Jump Live talk. I'm Justin Chilton. I'm a software developer working on Jump Live. So since Jump Live is built for collaboration and the feature that we're talking about today is all about collaboration, I'm excited to have my colleague Annie here.
Hello everyone, I am Annie Dudley and I am the software developer responsible for control charts and Jump. Today we'll be talking with you about the extra benefits that you get about for uploading your control charts and the control chart warnings in Jump Live. We have been working on this feature over many releases, and we're excited about, and we've been investing in this effort because we understand that if you are uploading your control charts, if you're using control charts, you're likely using them to monitor the stability or whether or not your process is in control. And when your process is not stable, typically we use control charts to make important decisions to bring it back into control. And failure to act on these decisions can be both stressful and costly. Our goal today is to help you share information, to communicate and collaborate across your organization to make decisions more quickly and efficiently. So with that, let's create a control chart. So here's some data that I simulated to represent a silicon carbide ceramics company. We have the date of our samples, and we're measuring the flexural strength in megapascals of these ceramics. So to create a control chart, I'll just use the control chart menu, click individual moving range, and I'll enter my flexural strength and the date. So one of the first things you might notice is this little note here that says limits were imported from a column property. This is important going forward because when we upload our control charts to Jump Live, we need to have static limits. They can't be changing as we experience a shift in the process which might widen the limits because we're keeping very close track of each and every warning in your chart. Okay, so in this case, the limits were imported from a column property, and you can see this here under control limits. You can also import them through a limits table. You can right-click in the graph and set control limits, or you can set them through JSL. Okay, so now this is about warnings, so let's turn on some warnings. First, you can turn on warnings by right-clicking in the graph and choosing tests. I'm going to turn on test 1, everybody's favorite. And we can see right away that there's a point out of control. You can also turn on warnings when you look at the control panel and scroll down and open up. The warnings are numbered by the first chart, second chart. And I'm going to turn on a couple of my other favorite tests. So tests 2 through 8, as you well may know, are runs tests. So I like this one, 9 points in a row on one side or the other, and also 2 out of 3 points in the outermost zone. So I've turned on my tests. Fortunately, we're not seeing any runs tests. So we're not experiencing a shift at this point. But I also wanted to turn on a test for my dispersion chart. So the only test available is a test beyond limits, and we do see one test flagging there. So here's the state of my charts. I'm going to click Done, and I'm going to close the limit summaries. That's under Limits now. And I'm also going to resize this chart so I can choose Fit to Window. That way it'll size when we upload it. Okay, I think I'm ready to upload now. So I'm going to choose File, Publish, and bear with us now. I think this is the first time through the conference that anyone has published in front of an audience. We'll see how the Wi-Fi is working. So we may need to sing a little or dance. And this is where it's establishing a connection across the Wi-Fi because I don't have an Ethernet connection here. So I think a lot of people are probably connected to the Wi-Fi in the hotel. So I think it usually takes about 15 to 30 seconds from our test there.
There you go.
Here it is. Okay. Okay, so we are in Asia. And this is Discovery 2025, but we are not in Japan, we are in Korea, so I'm going to publish there. And I'll choose Next. It grabbed the title of my chart, And I'm fine with that. I'll click next, and I'm going to publish the new data table because this is brand new. We're just starting to monitor our process. And now it's going to go ahead and finish the publish. And so now I would like to turn it over to Justin so we can all see what Justin is seeing.
All right, thanks, Annie. And we'll take a look at her report in a bit. But some of you may not be as familiar with Jump Live, so I just wanted to give a very brief introduction. So first of all, Jump Live is a secure collaboration platform and can be run on your company's servers. Its main purpose is to let you share Jump content, especially those who might not have Jump available. They can access your reports directly in your browser. And also, I did want to point out that Jump Live is localized in all of these different languages, including Korean. So when I change my language to Korean, all of the buttons and tabs and everything is in Korean. The content that was published in English is still, of course, in English. I don't know much Korean, so I'm going to switch back for the rest of this demo. So here we're on the new homepage for Jump Live 19. We now give you these organizational structures for finding the reports that you might want to look at. So up here at the top, we have the most recently posts that I viewed. It looks like I've been mostly looking at data tables today with some questions. But we also have the bookmarks section. I just have the one bookmark here, but this can be a report or a folder or a data table. And then we have control chart warnings, and that's going to be something we get into a little bit more later on, so I'll save that for later. And then finally at the bottom, we have recently updated. So this is going to be everything that I have access to, every report that I have access to sorted by the most recently updated ones. So when Annie published her report, she published to a space. We also call it collaboration space. So this sets who has access to view the posts and who has permissions to do what to it. So if you look here on the left, she chose the Asia Discovery space. And since I have this one favorited here with this star, I can filter my recently updated to just my favorite spaces. So if I had a collection of spaces and I wanted to be able to more quickly look at that, that's helpful. So here I see Annie's chart here, but I just want to quickly take a look at this diamonds report here, just so we can take a little bit more look at Jump Live. So this is a graph builder of a diamond's price versus weight. So you can generally see the trend where the higher the weight, the higher the price. It makes sense. So you can interact with this similar to how you can in Jump. And most importantly, kind of the impetus for Jump Live was the ability to interact with a local data filter, which gets recomputed on the server, which isn't available when you publish just to a file. All right, so that's some quick overview of Jump Live, but let's get to the enhancements we made to control chart warnings in 19. So we have this new menu for the space to access your spaces, and I can very quickly navigate directly to a space in that menu. So when you land on a space, you're going to be on this report tab. So reports and tables in Jump Live are organized into folders. So here's the Korea folder that Annie published to, and we also have the report that we just looked at that's at the root level. So I see this red exclamation here on the warnings in this space. So what this page does is it shows me all of the reports. This is just one report, but this shows you all the reports that have active warnings in your space. So let's take a look at that report. All right, so it looks a lot like it did in Jump again. So, and we've got this full width because she turned on that extra setting. We've got the 2 points here, and if you hover, we actually have something new that isn't in Jump called the status, and both of these are in the open status. And you can see we also have a legend. So this is really at the heart of our new feature for control chart triage. So again, we have another warnings panel here, and this panel is going to be specific to this report. So within this warning panel, what can I learn? First of all, the warnings are organized by the charts. So we have the individual chart and the moving range chart for the flexural strength, and those correspond to the two charts on the right. So within a chart, we have these drop-down buttons that allow you to see more information, like that we have one sample out of control with what the alarm rate is, and we can see that Annie turned on tests 1, 2, and 5. All right, so but to learn more about the individual warnings, you can expand them using this little button here. And here we can see the subgroup that failed, August 29th, and then we can see the actual value that failed and so on, and we can see that the test 1 was actually the one that's failing here. And you'll notice that when I expanded this warning, it actually selected the point over here on the right. So that's a way to help you orient yourself between the panel on the left and the report on the right. So it also works in the reverse direction. If I click on a point on the right, it opens it on the left. So that's just a couple of ways you can stay oriented with what you're working on. So let's say that I am a quality manager, and it's my job to make sure that these warnings get addressed. So I want to assign this to someone else and make sure that someone else gets it done, but I'm not doing it myself. So that's where this triage comes in. So first of all, we have a status, which by default, all new warnings are going to be in the open status. We have investigating, which means that someone is actively looking into it, and then address, meaning that the issue's been resolved and we're no longer worried about it. So we have an assignee, which is, of course, the person who is doing the investigating. I can assign it to myself pretty quickly just by clicking that button. But again, I want to assign this to Annie. I know she's here and ready to work on this. So I'm going to write. We also have this notes field that you can use however you like. I'm just going to write her a quick note. I can't spell today. All right, so I just wrote her a note, and I'm going to save that. And I think this other point here might be a similar issue, so I'm just going to also just assign that to her, and she'll be the one to take a look at both of these. So hopefully, or I know she will get a notification, and she can take a work. Take a look.
Okay, well, I just got an email. Actually, a couple of them. And when I look at my notifications bell, I can see that Justin just assigned 2 points to me. This is the notification when I uploaded the chart. I can also see when I click on the little warnings bell over here that I have been assigned these two different warnings that because they are signaling and I need to investigate them. But what happens if I've got a lot of spam going on in my email and I'm not paying attention to that because I have like 63 different charts I'm paying attention to and warnings and so forth? What happens if I'm not paying attention to any of that stuff? Well, if I go to the home menu and there's this new warnings list for version 19, I can click on this warnings list, and it's really handy because it defaults to all warnings assigned to me that are either open or under investigation. So this is like my to-do list. Okay, well, I have a to-do list. Let's start with the first item on the list. So I will go to the first, I'll click on the first one, and in a moment, as soon as my mouse starts working. Yeah. I'm not sure why. Is the internet not working? Oh, there we go. Okay. So I go to the first one, and it brings me right back to the chart and opens that very first warning that Justin assigned to me. Okay, so I actually remember what happened back on, let's see, it was August 29th. And I know that this was a silicon sand mixing issue, so I'll make a note here. Let me scroll down a little and say this was a silicon sand mixing issue, and it's been fixed. Okay, and I'm going to change the open status to addressed because, obviously it was not a problem any further on. So now I can hit save. Okay, and now you notice that red circle is now green. And this has a green addressed mark with it. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now I had one more issue on my moving range chart. Because there was another signal. So this is the moving range chart. So if we recall, a moving range with this range span of 2 is, this is August 30th. So that's this point, that value, 436.5887, minus this point, right? 389. So the value here is indeed directly related to the fact that that point there went out of control. So that's the same, it's really the same issue. It's just another reflection of that problem. So I will also change this one to addressed, and I'm going to put in a similar note that this was also a silicon sand mixing issue, and it's been addressed. Okay, now I click save, and voila, both are green, both of these are green, and now I don't have any red marks on my chart. So now we have an effective way of sharing with all the colleagues in your organization who have access to see this chart, what the current status is of the chart, the current status of every signal that might be, every warning that might be signaling, who is responsible, and any notes associated with that signal coming through. So this information is not going to be lost on a piece of paper or in a hallway conversation or an email that gets deleted after every 3 months or any other place. It's going to stay on your server. Okay. So now I'm going to turn it over back to Justin. You can switch to his screen, and he will show you more features on this Jump Live Warnings triage.
All right. So looks like Annie has resolved these. I see all the green. That makes me feel really happy as a manager. So, but as a manager, I want to do some reflection, and so I'm going to open this panel back up, and let's say that. There was a lot of activity that happened in a warning, and we needed to do some investigation or research into what happened. So in that case, I can go open up the warning here in the panel, and I can click Open History. So here you can see that everything that happened throughout the course of the life of this warning. So you can see 12 minutes ago it was created. I assigned it to her and wrote her a note, and then again she marked it as addressed and updated the notes appropriately. So that's a quick way to look at it. But if you wanted to do some analysis, say in Jump, you can download this as a CSV, and you can open this in whatever you want. But we're all Jump users here. So here at the top, there's actually 2 pieces of information in this file. This section here at the top is going to be the actual information and data about that point. Kind of the same things that we showed in the expansion for the panel, but here at the bottom is one entry for each of those actions that we took. So a warning gets created when the report was published. So that's that first one here where it was created, and then I assigned it to her, and she marked it as addressed. All right, so that's kind of like a low-level look at history for a single point. But I also might want to look, let's say we've had this chart running for several months, we might want to look at kind of the current state of all of the warnings for this report. So I have this, sorry, not the filters, this download button here on the panel, and by default it's going to select the same filters I had applied, but I didn't have any. So I'm just going to download, and we're going to have those 2 warnings. I'm going to open that again and Jump. We have 2 warnings, so we have 2 rows here. One for each of those warnings, and so we can see her notes, which chart it is, and kind of all of the information about the current state, so not the history, but the current state of all of these. So if you needed to do some analysis on that that's available to you. All right, so I'm feeling good about the silicon carbide ceramics process, but we might have multiple control charts on the site. So how can I take a look at those? So I'm gonna go back to our home page. And first I'm gonna check out the warnings list. So Annie showed this before, and it's gonna show a to-do list. And again, I'm a manager, I'm not a doer. I just tell other people to. So in this scenario, at least. So I'm going to remove myself as the assignee because I want to look at everything else. So when I remove myself as the assignee, I see all of the warnings on this site. So I see Aurora has some as well, so I could really micromanage. But I can also select unassigned. This might be what's most important to me. I want to make sure that these things get addressed. So again, I might have a lot of work to do if this was a real site. So that's a look at the whole site for all of the warnings. But what if you want like an even higher level view on the report level? So that's where we're going to take a look at the warnings page here. And we've got these 6 control chart warnings that have active warnings. And we see that our report has the green check still. But if I hit view all, I will see all of the reports across our whole site. So again, we have the green check mark for the report. We have the yellow pause button for meaning that at least one warning is under investigation. And then we have the red exclamation, meaning that there's at least one open. So we actually saw here that this report got regenerated and was updated 0 seconds ago. So reports in Jump Live get updated when their underlying data gets updated. So they could have any number of tables, but if any of them get updated, that will happen. So you can do automated refreshes of your data as well, or it could be a manual upload. So all right, so let's go. We actually looks like we have some new warnings that we might need to take a look at. So we have 2 new warnings here on the left, and we have the same corresponding ones on the right. So it looks like we got a new week of data. So I'm going to select these 2 points, and what I want to do is I think that Annie's gone home for the day. So I actually want to triage both of these again, and I'm going to assign this to a group called Ceramics Process Engineers, and you can see here it has 4 members. So as long as one of those 4 people are here, they're all going to get notified. Someone will take claim and take a look.
Can you switch back to me? Well, it turns out I haven't gone home yet. I'm still here. And I indeed am part of this ceramics process engineers group. And I can see that my group is assigned these 2 warnings. And since I haven't gone home for the day, but I'm here and I want to let my colleagues know that I'm going to start looking at these, I can also select both of these points and change the triage status to investigating, and I can start investigating this now in case we need to like shut down the line or something. So I'm just going to assign it to myself and just let everybody know that it's under investigation now. Okay, so now we've got a new way to communicate. So in our talk, we showed you some new features in Jump Live that we hope and think will help you learn how to find your out-of-control processes more easily and quickly, learn more about what's going on with each and every warning and different signals, work through each warning one by one in a group or with a group of colleagues, passing from one colleague to the next. And for each warning, communicate the status and the person responsible and any notes associated that you discover along the way. So let me pull this back up. So what do you need to do? Well, these new functions and abilities are here if you want them. You don't have to use them. But if you want the basic benefits, publish your control charts to Jump Live using Control Chart Builder. If you want warnings triage, you need to publish your control charts to Jump Live using static limits, either set through a column property, through a limits file, through JSL, or through the interface, which will then save it as JSL. So in this list of benefits that we've been building up over time, there's this one line at the end that we think represents a pretty big step forward in helping you understand what's going on in your process, and also in helping you collaborate more efficiently with your colleagues to solve issues. And we did not do this on our own. Justin and I, would like to thank the other developers, Aurora, Michael, and Pravina. We also want to thank the other JUMP employees, the product management team, the testing team, other JUMP employees who've tried this out, and customers who've given us feedback along the way. And now at this point, we'd like to thank you for coming to our talk and answer any questions that you may have.
네, 혹시 질문 있으신 분?
혹시 그 점프 라이브를 통해서 컨트롤 차트를 구해야 하는데 그 검출 규정이 있지 않습니까? 룰 1번부터 8번까지 보통 있는데 그것을 그 조직에 맞게 커스터마이징 할 수 있습니까? 그 룰 1번, 2번, 3번, 4번.
점프 라이브를 통해서
그 룰을 커스터마이징 할 수 있는.
어떤 룰을 말씀하시는 거예요?
그래서 원 포인트 스위치가 뭐
So they are. He's asking like using the Jump Live. Can we specify the warnings? I guess we have the warnings from number 1 to number 9, right?
Actually, this supports all 15 warnings. Let me, can you pull? Yeah, okay, thank you. So in JUMP, here in my control chart, for the location chart, show control panel, just a moment. There are 15 warnings that are supported, and so there's tests beyond limits, which is number 15, and then 1, 2, 3 through 8, and then there's the WestGuard rules, so that's another 6, so that makes 15, and custom. So if I right-click on here and choose Customize Test, this is also supported when it goes up to Jump Live. So if you change any of the 9 points in a row to maybe 12 points in a row, or change the label for it, that's all supported when it goes up to Jump Live. Is that your question? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, if I had a control limits table, both tables get uploaded simultaneously. And it will be associated, and just like if you had a control limits table and then you save the JSL will reference that control limits table.
Second question. So I saw the warning and read the messaging. If the data is corrected within the limit, then the out of rule, the rule number 1 will be within the range. Then what's going to happen?
Okay. Can you repeat the question more slowly?
So there's the rule 1 out of control.
Yes.
If the data is corrected
Ah,
within
the data is now corrected. That's another, yes. So if the data is corrected, okay, so Justin does the Jump Live part, I do the control charts part.
Yeah. So we do a lot of, as you get new data in, all of that new data on the end is going to be obviously treated normally as new data. But if you go back and change
correct one.
old data, we really
I think we
you've had a
there.
substantial change in the process. So really everything from that point forward is kind of invalidated. So what we do is we invalidate those old warnings. If it's gone from control to out of control or vice versa, we will invalidate that and create a new warning. So we have the concept of invalidated warnings that get hidden by default. So if you change the data, those will now go under this.
Right, and anything from
invalidated.
that point forward, because the runs tests are all looking back, anything from that point forward will be invalidated, if I recall, yeah.
Sorry, my last question. Is there any plan for integration with the Teams? For example, I want to posting this one, but I want to see this chart from the connection with the Microsoft Teams because I can share about this chart not only internal my company, but also sharing to my the other the client as well. So maybe
I think that's you.
Jump Live feature also already can have a feature for
Yeah, I can't. I'm not sure if we have this feature. So here's your notifications. We have different options. I think this might be a new feature that's coming in our next release. But our plan is to allow you to specify an email channel besides your main email that can go out. And so what you can do is take the email that Teams can receive and add that as a secondary contact. And then when you get a warnings notification, it will go to your Teams channel.
And that'll be in 19.5?
At least, I think.
Okay.